working with people every day, like yourselves, who really want to move to Naples, Florida. So what's involved in a move to Florida from wherever you're coming from? A lot of these things that I'm going to share with you in this video can pertain to any move, whether it's to Florida or any other state. Maybe you've never moved out of state before. It's very nerve-wracking. I've been there a few times. I've moved from New Jersey to Pennsylvania. I've moved back to New Jersey. I've moved from New Jersey to Delaware. I moved from Delaware down to Naples, Florida. And let's face it, moving sucks. There's really nothing fun about it. In the very beginning, it's exciting because you're excited about getting to a new place, starting a new adventure. But as you really get into the nitty-gritty about moving and all the details that are involved, it can become overwhelming. The anxiety comes into play, and all of a sudden, the move doesn't seem as exciting anymore. It kind of loses its luster. So let me see if I can help you with some tips in this video to make the move a little bit easier, and hopefully not as anxiety-ridden. The thing with Naples, Florida is that people are literally coming from all over. And sometimes they're making it their permanent move, sometimes it's just for a seasonal getaway. But the fact is that they're coming from another state. Sometimes they're coming from as far away as California. Typically it's from the Northeast and the Midwest. That's where we attract most of our residents from. Before we get into it, welcome back to another video on my channel. I'm Alicia Shivers. I'm your go-to real estate agent here in Naples, Florida. I've been servicing the areas of Naples, Bonita Springs, and Estero for the last 12 years, and I'd love to help you meet your real estate goals. Look, the fact is that I get calls and emails and texts from people every day like yourself who want to move here. And my first question to them is, and to you, will be, have you ever been here to visit? Do yourself a favor, carve out some time to come here and really kind of get a feel for Naples, even if it's a quick weekend visit or if you're able to stay a little bit longer. Looking at photos and videos online is a great start, but actually visiting the area that you want to move to is something else altogether. And yes, I understand that vacationing in a place is a total different experience from actually living here and making a life here, but you got to start somewhere. My husband and I first came to Naples back in 2000 when we were flown here for his job interview. Neither one of us had ever heard of Naples before. The furthest south we had ever been in Florida was Orlando for the parks and St. Pete Beach. When we arrived in Naples, it was 80 degrees, wall-to-wall sunshine, the landscape was green, and people were at the beach. It was February. We had just left Philadelphia where it was probably 20 degrees at best, and we came to Naples, Florida, where it was 80 degrees and gorgeous. Naples looked and felt like a fairy tale. Obviously, I don't need to tell you what happened next because here I am 23 years later, and we're still amazed that we get to call this place home. I know I don't have to tell you that vacationing in Naples, Florida is a complete different experience from actually living here and making a life here. But you have to start somewhere. And you really have to come here to experience it to see if it lives up to your expectations. Plus, looking online at photos and videos is not the same as actually being here and driving the streets and figuring out the different areas of town and seeing where the restaurants and shops and beaches are and really getting a feel for our communities and even our housing styles. While visiting Naples and looking at communities and touring homes is fun, don't let that consume your entire process. That's just one piece of your decision to move here. Don't forget about the place you're moving from. Now, if Naples is just going to be a seasonal getaway for you, this may not play a big part in your process. But if you are moving here permanently, then you have to consider your timeline. There may be a need to place your items in storage temporarily. There may be a need to find a rental until you actually find the home that you want to live in. I have customers right now, for instance, who are under contract to build a new home here in Naples, and they have sold their home in Colorado. And even though we are a year out from their home being complete, we're already discussing their move across country. We're talking about things like storing their furnishings for a bit, or even their cars, and possibly finding them a rental for temporary housing until their home is complete. The to-do list is long and can be overwhelming, but we're tackling it one at a time together. One thing I can't stress enough is really take a look around your current home, your belongings, your furnishings, especially things that are in your attic, your basement, your garage, things that you may not have even known still exist in those places and haven't taken out maybe for years. What do you really need here in your new life in Naples, Florida? Coming from New Jersey and Delaware, I was used to 4 seasons, so I had a variety of clothing. But here in Naples, we have summer and summer light, if you will. We tend to live in shorts and short sleeve shirts and sandals for most of the year. And the occasional day where we bring out a pair of jeans and maybe a light jacket when a cold front sweeps through. We didn't know what to expect when we moved here. We didn't really have anybody guiding us. So we brought pretty much everything that we owned to Naples, Florida. And it took us a while to thin that out, especially since we found ourselves going back up north to visit family and friends quite often. So that cold weather clothing still came in handy, but as that need to go back kind of waned, we obviously donated a lot of those items. Take into consideration that we have a ton of companies here that do lawn care and pool care. So you can ditch the mower, you can ditch the weed whacker. You don't need that tub of pool chemicals anymore. You're definitely not going to need that snow blower and any of those snow shovels. So give them to a neighbor. And your furniture, well, moving here gives you the opportunity to start fresh. And really, you'll likely find that a lot of your furniture doesn't really fit here in your new Florida lifestyle. Sometimes it's just the sheer size of the pieces that don't work because maybe you're downsizing in your Florida home, or maybe it's just the overall design that doesn't work. Look, we don't really do a lot of dark, heavy woods here. It doesn't really fit in with our coastal vibe. So donating and selling items before you move is a great thing to do. And the reality is that buying new here or even buying consigned items when you get here is much more cost effective than moving your current items here to Florida. And speaking of the actual move, there are many, many moving companies to choose from. Do yourself a favor, make the calls early, get some quotes so that you're prepared, because a lot of these moving companies get booked up quickly. A good question to ask when you are getting quotes from moving companies is whether or not they're the actual mover or they're just a broker. A broker is simply going to be an order taker. They are just going to ask you to, hey, go around your house, take some pictures of the things that we're going to move, send those to us, and we'll provide you a quote based on your photographs. And chances are likely when the moving company actually gets to your home that day to do the move, that those guys are going to say, this is a lot more than we anticipated. Here's your new price. And you're going to feel stuck because they're there, your timeline is limited, you're ready to move, and you're going to pay the extra money, but you're going to be frustrated and pissed. Frankly, that's not a good way to start off your move. So take my advice, and when you're talking to these moving companies and getting a quote, insist that somebody come to the house from their company to evaluate your belongings and give you a real quote. And if they don't offer that or agree to that demand, then move on to somebody else. When we moved to Naples, we hired a moving company that came to our townhouse. They packed us all up. They even stored our belongings for quite some time, actually, until we actually made the call to them to tell them we were ready for them to deliver it to Naples, Florida. We did drive down our own car, and we towed a small U-Haul behind with some of our more critical items that we needed in the short term. But you can always fly down and have your car delivered. Just make sure that you have the critical items that you need until the moving company actually arrives, because even though they're going to give you an approximate day and time of their arrival, anything can happen. I know our movers didn't get to our house until, it was close to midnight, and we waited all day for them to arrive, and it was exhausting. And the guys were still great. They still put everything together for us. I think they were there until 2 o'clock in the morning. It was a long day for us and for them. Whether you're looking to buy property in Naples now, 6 months from now, or even a year out or longer, I get calls, texts, and emails from folks like yourself every day who want to make the move here. Feel free to contact me. All of my information is below. I'd be happy to start your exploration process of Naples. And if this video was helpful for you and you want some more information like this, please like it and even subscribe if you want to stay in the loop as to what's actually happening in the Naples market. You'll be the first to know.